Hi, I'm Wolf from Justice Rescue. I'm here with Crash. Many of you have followed our Facebook page and the news media about the dogs that we picked up Monday morning that were fought, abused, beat, and then finally left for dead. This is Gracie. She was the worst of the two. When we picked her up, she actually was as cold as ice. She was laying lateral, couldn't move, and could barely blink her eyes. We rushed her to the emergency hospital. I really didn't think that she was going to make it. The best thing that I could do at that point was, get her to the hospital and possibly put her out of that pain by humanely euthanizing her if needed. Those of you that know Justice Rescue, we do that as last case. We put everything that we can into saving every animal that we can. Crash and I have been doing this as Justice Rescue for about 7 years. Throughout that time, we've rescued thousands of animals, a lot from dogfighting, heinous abuse, and a lot of worse crime. So as you see, she's moving around, she's doing better. I'm sure a lot of you are very happy to see that. She's not out of the dark at this point. She really has a long way to go. She's not capable of walking. She is starting to eat on her own at this point, hand-fed sometimes. But she is just a wonderful, sweet girl. That, one of the sad parts is when we reach for her, as you see, she blinks. She thinks that she's going to be abused. They're about 2 years old, and I can tell you by the level of dogfighting scars that they have, they've never known love. They've never known this kind of treatment as humane, loving humans toward them. So it's confusing them a little bit. They really don't know what everybody's intentions are, but we're going to continue to work with her. With your support, as long as they show that they're getting better, we're going to fight with them and give them anything that they need. We're at Aardvark right now. They're a vet that we've been using for about 7 years, and there's been many cases that I brought in here that I really thought that they were going to not make it, and Dr. Corinne and the staff here has done an amazing job at saving them. And Dr. Corinne will actually take them home with her at night when she needs to make sure that they get overnight care. We've been doing this for a long period of time. People ask us how we do it, and I think that the answer is how do we not? Neither one of us like doing this work. Neither one of us enjoy it. And Crash, this is today's case, but what have we been through?
Mm-hmm. One of the things that a lot of people have to realize is yes, this is an absolutely heinous case of torture and cruelty and abuse, but we see this kind of thing almost on a daily basis. There's hardly a day that goes by that we're not called in to help an emaciated dog, a dog that's been abused or beaten. So while this is absolutely a horrible case, we deal with this kind of thing on a daily basis.
Yeah, and throughout our start with Justice Rescue, we didn't realize how much of the actual heinous crimes that are to animals are actually being done to humans as well, wherever they are abusing animals. You look at some of the long-term, long ago serial killers, they all start with animals. If you can do this to an animal and you can stomach this kind of pain toward any kind of a live being, dogs and animals, they feel the same hunger, the same pain, the same cold as we feel. So for the abusers that are doing this to animals, they're absolutely either doing it or going to be abusing humans as well. And you're not, by supporting what we do and supporting animal cruelty prevention, you're also helping humans, kids, and domestic violence. It's all tied in together. Not to mention that 99% of the cases that we investigate that lead to criminal conviction is actually tied in with guns and drugs and other forms of felony charges. And Crash, how if you could explain how we work with other law enforcement to combat that as well?
Mm-hmm. Sure. One of the reasons that we are so successful is with the very good relationship we've developed over the years with local, state, and federal police. We work very closely with them. We've been called by them to assist them on multiple cases. And the other thing is, as Wolf was saying, is that a lot of times we'll get a call for a animal abuse case. We'll go on that case and we'll find humans living in that house in sometimes worse shape than the dogs are. Child Human Services are called in on several cases, and as Wolf said, if somebody is willing to abuse an animal, there's no reason to stop them from abusing a child or a spouse or something else.
And with knowing that, that's why we started our anti-bullying campaigns with our rescue road trips, with going around and introducing a anti-bullying book that I wrote that will actually help children understand the proper and ethical way of treating an animal at the same time of combating anti-bullying by protecting each other. One of the things that we also have recognized throughout this venture is that kids that are being bullied at school sometimes will start to bully and hurt animals because they don't know how to deal with it any other way. So our focus in going to these schools will continue to be, a very strong effort moving forward. I think before we get more into them, and I want to speak more about these two girls, of course, is I really believe that we the people, if we want animal cruelty to change and we want laws to change, we all have to stick together. The problem is each rescue, each shelter, they're all doing wonderful work, but they have never come together to fight with each other for these things. The people that are stopping laws from being put into legislation, the people, the fight that we have of getting this voted in, we control, as we the people, how that works. So if you could encourage everybody to come to Justice Rescue's Facebook page and follow us, and we're going to hopefully start to unite rescues, unite shelters, and do more to bring everybody together. You may not be in animal welfare. You might not be from a shelter. You could just be somebody sitting at home, but your vote matters. Your support matters. So never turn a blind eye to this. This is something that I know that a lot of people, when they see animal abuse, they feel helpless. They don't know what to do. We are there fighting it. There's many other organizations that actually do investigate animal cruelty, as well as the local and state police. Sometimes they just need a little bit of support. They don't have shelters to take the abused animals to. They don't have the specific training in animal cruelty laws, and that's where we support them. 90% of our cases aren't prosecuted through us. We actually support the local and state police to prosecute it, and we help follow them because whenever we're doing warrants, whenever we're doing raids, there's a lot more felony things happening than just animal abuse. So if these people are getting arrested for guns and drugs and all of that, there's nothing more satisfying to us is when we can put the handcuffs on them, and it was because of the way they treated their animals is how they got caught on the whole thing. So moving forward with that, I'm going to be speaking more about Gracie and Layla. They're about 2 years old. They've suffered animal cruelty since they were born, I'm sure of it. It wouldn't surprise me if they were born to suffer this kind of abuse with fighting and neglect. When we showed up, I really thought she was dead. I really thought that, she wasn't going to make it to the hospital. And, I talked to her and I took my vest off, and, like I said before, any cop that wears the ballistic vest, they know how hot they are, and we needed to warm her up, so I put my police vest on her. And with the great care that she received, she's doing great. One thing, you never know when you have animals that have been abused, what their temperament's going to be like. I can tell you my feelings about both Layla and Gracie is they're going to be really good companions that are going to consistently know love, consistently appreciate what they have because of what they suffered. Every little bit of treat, every little bit of attention, every little bit of affection that these two get, they are absolutely enjoyed with it. Even for her to lay here on my lap and, you probably can't hear her, but she's snoring, feels good that she can get this human affection and be comfortable with it. So with that, moving forward, we will continue to update on our Facebook page. I've been getting hundreds of calls to the emergency line for people asking how they are doing. Please don't do that. I'm answering the emergency calls that are coming in, and we're getting a lot more reports, not only for these two, but for other animal cruelty that people recognize that now we're here, and including some dogfighting investigations that we need to start. As a result of what they have suffered, they're going to help a lot more. With that being said, all of our updates will be on our Facebook and our website. If you want to learn more about us, you can visit Justice Rescue's Facebook or www.justice, rescue.com. That's a hyphen in between justice and rescue. And I think with this, we're going to allow Gracie to continue her sleep, and we're going to go meet Layla at this point. So let's take a walk.
Layla, there's a baby. Hi, baby. Come here. Hi, baby.
Meet everybody. Everybody wanted to see how you are. As you see, she's up, she's walking around, she's doing much better. But can you just imagine the suffering that she went through with all of these scars? There's not a place on her that's not tore up. I'm going to spin around. She's trying to get on my lap. I'm going to spin around to show you the scars over here. You can see how skinny and emaciated she is. These dogs were just terribly abused. I had her telling me and barking, told me she loved me a little while ago. So she's loving the attention and the care she's getting here. At this point, I'd like to introduce you all to Dr. Corinne Thomas. As I mentioned before, we've been working with her for about 7 years. No matter what time of the day or night, she always answers her phone to make sure that she gives us support that we need. Not only with the dogs that we bring in, but there's been many cases that we've been in the field and she's helped us save the dog on the spot to be able to get it to her. Not only is our veterinarian, but my friend. And, I really appreciate the love and attention that she's put into this. And all of the staff here, I've known that this staff has taken a personal interest in both of these girls, and there's not a minute that goes by that either of these girls are alone. Dr. Corinne, meet everybody on Facebook.
Hello. Good afternoon.
So if you could, I've talked enough, if you could explain what you saw when you come in and we had her here warming her up, what did you think that Gracie's condition was?
Gracie's condition was dire. She was completely non-responsive. She was not responding to an eye touch. She was so cold it took us 2 hours to even get a registered temperature on her. And even with that, it was 90 degrees 2 hours after we had heated her. It took us another 2 hours to get her up to 100. And that was just because she was left and so cold. She was also severely anemic, dehydrated, emaciated. She was on death's door. There was no question that she was ready to check out at any moment in time. And she has progressed and she is improving. I wouldn't say she's out of the woods yet, but she is improving.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time. I say that this is the worst case of abuse because of the long-term, fighting and abuse that they received. But Dr. Corinne and I have been through this many, many times. And I know that look that I get from her when she evaluates and she gives me a look, and I just kind of tell her, I know, we got to do the best that we can, and she does. So I think we've had enough for today. Crash and I need to go up, follow up on some leads. So if you have any questions, please post them on our Facebook, visit us online, and please don't riddle the hospital with calls. They're doing some good work, and they have these dogs to take care of. So if you could, and also please don't call my emergency line unless it's an emergency. And with that, thank you all. We appreciate all your support, and we'll keep following up. Goodbye.